How did you go exterior on that occasion? Do you remember? What mechanism did you use?
Well, I just located myself in space and time. I didn't. It's okay.
What you were going to say? It's what?
I'm sorry. Go on.
You locate yourself in space and time. See, there's one thing I have to explain to you that may help you understand, Mark especially, because you know all this. You're in your body, I'm in my body. You have your energy flows, I have mine. And we're in this space, but you're in your space and I'm in my space. But the thing that keeps us imprisoned is time. We are both in consecutive moments of now. And that's the key to exteriorization. Time. You don't have to be in now. You can be in then, you can be in to be. You don't have to be stuck in nowness. That's why Earth and this physical universe is a prison planet.
Can you exteriorize while you're sitting there talking to us?
Yeah, I just find it very awkward to be able to. I just would find it very awkward at this point because I'm not comfortable, you know.
Well, maybe later then.
Maybe later. But my question is, when you exteriorize, what happens to your body?
It stays where it is. I can talk through the body, but I can perceive different. In other words, the walls get very soft, like they're not there. You know, a lot of times I'll be sitting in this chair, and all of a sudden I'll get really frightened because I don't see this wall. I see the whole length of the next apartment. You know. And I've never been in that apartment. Never. But I know where everything is in there.
Do you?
Because I'll be sitting through, right here, I'd be reading a book. Of course, you know, I don't read anything else but LRH. And all of a sudden I'll just...
LRH?
L. Ron Hubbard.
Okay.
And I'll sit here and all of a sudden I really lose it because I don't see this wall. I mean, I see a whole series of rooms, you know. And everything around me, including what's under me, and that's another thing. When you can actually see through the floor, and you're looking down 11 floors, you get really shaky because you realize you're only in up in space, and there's nothing holding you up here.
You were one time telling me that you could drive your car when you were exterior.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of times, well, that's an automaticity. An automaticity is very simple. You set the body on automatic. When I do a wedding, I'm very rarely around.
What do you mean you're not around?
I'm not around. The body does the wedding, says the words, goes through the vows, and sometimes I come back to the body in the middle of the ceremony and say, what the hell am I, where am I? What did I say last?
Who got paid? You or the exteriorizing person?
The body got paid. The body deserved it. It worked. I didn't do a damn thing. But sometimes I'll be like in the middle of a ceremony, and all of a sudden I'll come back to the body because I was in Australia or somewhere, and I don't even know what I'm doing. You know, like I have to catch myself and like backtrack and see where we were. You know, where the body was. You know, whenever I say where we were to Dr. Geertz, he says, "Oh, that's schizophrenia," but it isn't. It's actually the thetan and the body interacting. You know,
Dr. Geertz thinks you're schizophrenic?
That's unfortunately that's the kind of a doctor he is. But you know, in the average layman psychologist, I'm not putting you down, but I'm just saying the average WOG, you know, WOG psychologist, I should say, would come to that conclusion.
What is WOG?
WOG is a acronym for Worthy Oriental Gentleman. I should bring my dictionary here. You're going to ask me a lot of questions, and I don't want to give you tech which isn't standard.
Tech? What's tech?
Technology.
That's your belief system?
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about talking Scientology. If you want to use the vocabulary.
Yeah, but he's confused. You see, I'm giving him all kinds of MUs, and I'm going to.
I'll tell you what.
MUs?
Misunderstood words.
Okay.
And he'll soon be doping off. You know.
Well, but sometimes just run for a while with it. When Mark can't stand it anymore, he'll ask you for a definition. Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, ask me for a definition.
What does WOG? What does WOG mean?
A WOG is a pejorative term for like a non-Scientologist scum. You know.
Well, isn't
it means worthy Oriental gentleman, but it also means the world operating genetically. That's the real definition.
Who is a WOG then?
anyone who is not a Scientologist, anyone who is not aware of the fact that they're a spiritual being operating a body rather than being a body.
So then am I a wog?
Well, I hope you're one of the better ones.
Okay.
Presumably all wogs, presumably all suppressives are wogs. Is that right?
Well, in order to be a no. Well, once you're a suppressive, you've been declared a non-Scientologist.
By whom?
But that's an interesting point. I never really looked at that before. That's like one of these syllogisms, you know, that you get when you study logic.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to look out for things like that in word clearing, you know. When people do those generalities, that's a typical psych reaction, by the way.
Okay.
To give me a glittering generality like that.
Who would be a suppressive?
Well, if you hand me my Introduction to Scientology Ethics, I can read it to you, but I can tell it to you without
just tell it to us.
A suppressive is basically anyone who does not follow the 10 points of KSW, of keeping Scientology working. But more than that, not only not following it, but actually suppresses the church of Scientology, suppresses a Scientologist's right to go up the bridge. It's anyone who commits a high crime or an act of suppression which results in real negative statistics for an org or for any of the dynamics, actually.
How vital is a Scientologist's right to go up the bridge?
Well, there's two rights that have been interfered with in the physical universe. And those two rights are the right to one's sanity and the right to leave the game. Did you know that? Have you heard that before?
Not the second one, no.
Okay. The right to leave the game. If a person does not want to be here, and if a person wants to go to... I hate when that happens.
Why don't we